right, hello, Pile 1, and welcome to your reading on what you stand accused of regarding love. The first half of the reading is going to be the Lenormand cards answering the question of what your love crime is, what you stand accused of. And then the second row with the tarot cards is basically love's counsel to you at this time, advice that you can take in order to better the situation for yourself, basically. Point blank, Lenormand is clearly stating that it's classic Casanova case where you create romantic circumstances for your partners that you know you have no intention on following through on or fulfilling. It goes more than just like people catch feelings and you never did anything to, like, if you are confused as to why so many people catch feelings for you, I'm telling you point blank that you're being dense. You're being blind to a lot of things. You're ignoring a lot. For a lot of you, though, it seems that you're aware. Like, you're aware that you do like to create those romantic circumstances. Maybe because you like indulging in that. But you know once it comes down to it, you're not going to go through. You're not going to commit. You're not going to take it anywhere further. It's just about having that feeling with someone, and then once it gets a little too heavy, too serious, then you move on to the next one, and then it's all fun again. With the way that because Garden is like taking things like to a public degree, like socializing, being out in public, and then Fox kind of running around, it really came through. The phrase that came through was, you're for the streets. And here, like, you offer this with heart, you offer this like romance, even though you know you're gonna bounce. So yes, that is what you stand accused of, Pile 1, that you steal hearts and you run away with them, with no intention of returning to fulfill on any of that. What the counsel for you is, you're being invited to, and as a tarot, kind of, let me take a moment from channeling here just to say, like, I was fully expecting for the counsel to be, sit with how you've hurt people. There's nothing in the cards about that. It's actually geared towards the effects that your actions have on you. I will, at a human level, invite you to still sit with the harm you may have done, but maybe this counsel is coming through because you need to see it from this perspective first, and then you'll circle around to that, if you will. I don't know. The point is, the message that is here for you is the High Priestess reversed. One of the first thing it's saying to me is, and this doesn't have to be true for you, but there seems to be a negation of an internal voice or internal guidance. Maybe there is a slight guilt when you do these things, or maybe if it's not a guilt, it might just be that acknowledgement that this isn't, it's how I was saying, like, you do have a knowledge that you're not going to go through with it. It's you ignoring that knowledge. It's you being like, yeah, well, I know that, but I still want to get my kicks anyway. That's what the High Priestess reversed is saying to me. It's this willful ignorance of not only how it's impacting others, but in this case, how it's impacting you. The Knight of Cups is basically you. It's describing you in the ways that you're moving. You're moving in an emotional way. You're moving in a way that's, because the Knight of Cups is a very romantic individual. So yes, that's you. But what this is pointing out is how the way that you move in romance is a direct reflection of your emotional state, your internal emotional state. And here comes the second thing that the High Priestess is telling me, because the Cups suit is all about emotion, and the High Priestess herself is a very water based card. There's a lot of like water element in it. There's a lot of lunar imagery, and the moon is just very attached to emotions. And so the High Priestess, this major arcana card of emotion, showing up reversed next to emotional action, the Knight of Cups, there's something repressed, and if it's not repressed, something a negative emotional impact that happened to you in the past that you're not fully aware how much it's impacted you, that has you moving this way, in a way that you're okay with, in essence, hurting others, and in doing so hurting yourself, because the Nine of Wands, right after the Knight of Cups, and you can even see that the Knight of Cups is directly facing this. The Nine of Wands is anxiety. It's not just anxiety, but like and I don't want to say frustration, but it can be like the exhausting task it can be to maintain this act. Maybe it's gotten to the point where you were shuffling a little too much, you were juggling a little too much, and maybe things got, maybe you spoke the wrong name. If it's not that, like, there's just something you're not. There are consequences to this that you're downplaying, and you're being invited to take those consequences a little more seriously, whatever they are, whether it's an internal consequence of something that you're feeling as these things happen, or maybe you're starting to come into a questioning of like, is this still fun to me? Like, do I still want to do this? But out of habit, you continue to do it. The Nine of Wands is, again, a negative consequence to what you're doing that you need to be more aware of. The Nine of Wands is an internal feeling, so it's not like a consequence that has to do with other people so much as the oh, you know what I was gonna say, because the Nine of Wands is usually depicting our own anxieties and frustrations, but the Nine of Wands is traditionally a card of a soldier, a lone soldier hiding from the enemy, and the enemy outnumbers this sole soldier. And the Knight of Cups facing this Nine of Wands, the knights, those are soldiers. So it's almost like this Nine of Wands, the figure in the Nine of Wands, is like the people that you basically prey upon, kind of them hiding from you and having to like strategize and figure out a way to like not be hurt by you. This is probably after you leave, where you leave this behind, and maybe what's being depicted here is like the trust issues that you leave behind in other people because of the ways that you move. So yeah, it's not just about you, because so yes, the Nine of Wands is, yes, talking about like pay attention to the consequences internally, that you're not that you're kind of downplaying, but then also pay attention to the consequences that you're creating in other people, that you might also be downplaying, and how in doing so you might then unlock not only an internal peace because you're not moving in these ways that are creating these consequences you're downplaying, but then unblocking the High Priestess, like not moving against that internal guidance, that internal knowing that you've been negating, if that part of the reading was true for you. My friend, I really hope that this helped. Godspeed, and I hope to catch you at another one of these readings. Bye. Alright, hello, Pile 2, and welcome to this reading on what you stand accused of in love. Now, point blank, what's being said here is there's someone who pretty much wishes you had left them alone. We see Hilda here on the left, and she's just minding her business, having a laugh. She's chill, she's fine. And you're being represented by the other card on the other side, which is Horseshoe, which is something temporary, something fickle, basically. And Heart there in the center. Now, the first thing that's coming through is this person just minding their business, they're okay on their own, and in comes you. So they basically they think back on this situation between you and them as one that they kind of regret, because they recognize that they were fine before you, but now that they've met you and you did what you did and things ended the way that they did, now they're in pain. Now they're upset, and if you had never come along, they wouldn't be feeling this way now. Now the thing is that the way the cards are positioned, there's something about, now you'll know if this is true, and the way that Heart is in the center, it almost, no, not even almost, it says that you felt things for this individual too, but for whatever reason you didn't follow through, or you moved on, or it never really panned out with this person for whatever reason on your part. The point is, since this reading is what you stand accused of, it's coming through from this person's perspective of, they feel like they had all of these feelings, the love, maybe not, it might have not been love, but like they started to feel feelings, or maybe it was love. But they see you as someone who just kind of left, who couldn't be bothered by those feelings, even if they knew that you had them too or not. They've kind of come to this conclusion that they felt more than you did, and that you didn't really care, that it was easy for you to kind of just walk away. Now, for those of you for whom that's true, if you can think back and you haven't walked away from anyone that you regret, like you've walked away from things because you wanted to and you didn't want to be there, click off this reading. That was it for you. Just know that there are people who look at you that way and who recognize you as such, and who wish you had left them alone, and you can do with that message what you will. But for those of you who they're not right, for those of you who you did have feelings for this person, and for whatever reason you didn't follow through, there's no indication in these cards as to what happened, as to why you had to walk away. So I'm willing to assume that that's probably going to mean that it's different for all of you. But the point is, for those of you who you did have feelings and you do regret walking away from this individual and you do want to go back, love's counsel is for you to recognize that there are nice feelings when you think back on this person, that you do think back on this person fondly, that there are nice feelings when you think on this person and think back on what happened between the two of you. It's nice to remember that person and to recognize the legitimate, it's going to be either attraction and or legitimate passion between the two of you, whether it got to that point or not. And so the advice for you with the Two of Swords, and I want to point out how the Ace of Wands is the Ace of Fire, because the wands are fire, and it's even depicted in the card, this flame. And then the next card, the Two of Swords, she's engulfed in flame, and she's contemplating what she's going to do. And that's the advice to you. Contemplate, acknowledge the legitimate and genuine attraction that there is between the two of you, and decide, is that something that you're willing to pursue? Because chances are this individual wants to pursue that with you too. Or is it not enough for you to, like, is that attraction, is that passion not enough for you to turn around and go back to it? Can you recognize that, yes, it was nice, but I want something different, or I just don't want commitment right now? Sit with yourself and answer that question for you, because if it is something that, whatever the answer is for you, it's valid. It's not just valid, but it's important information for you to have moving forward. If it's the answer that you do want to go back, that it is this attraction is something that you're willing to pursue, that's valuable information, not just for you, but for that individual too. You can create a connection, you can start to build something, and hopefully it comes out to be something like super successful. On the other hand, if you decide, no, that's not what I want, the passion was there, the attraction was there, but for whatever reason, that's not what I want, that's important information for you to have as well. Because if in the future you start to create a connection with another individual, and let's say the answer for you is, I don't want a relationship right now because I want to invest my time and energy in whatever it is that you want to invest your time and energy in, then you'll know, if you start to create another romantic entanglement, that you don't have the time and energy for that, and you'll nip that in the bud before too many feelings get involved, like with this individual who's accusing you of feeling less than they did. So yeah, important information to have regardless of what your answer is. Give yourself the time, the space, the energy to decide for yourself what it is that you want romantically, with this individual and in general. My friend, Godspeed. I really hope that this helped, and I hope to catch you at the next one. Bye. Alright, hello and welcome, pile 3, to this reading on what you stand accused of in love. This one's really nice, I have to say. Before I begin, allow me to thank you for clearing up the energy, because the first two piles were brutal, but this one's really nice, because what you stand accused of is being too flippant, being completely enveloped in your own life and in your own responsibilities, that you are not looking at the attention that you're getting. You're not paying attention to the people who are trying to get your attention. And I do say people because it's very clear that there are at least two individuals with their eyes on you, but the way the cards are laid out, I would venture to say that there's more. The first, what it's saying about the love crime itself is, with house, I'm getting this idea that it's either you have a family that you are very involved with. It doesn't have to be blood family. It could be like chosen family or a close-knit group that you are a part of and that you take care of. If not that, it could just be you keep your house in order, and that takes a lot of your time and energy, where you work a lot and you have like hobbies that take your time, and you have all of these things that really keep you on this tight schedule. Your energy and your focus is in other things, and that's why you're not looking up. Very much that energy of Belle with her nose stuck in a book, not paying attention to everybody singing about her around town. And the thing about it, it's not just that you're distracted, you are committed to you're locked in with these habits, with these routines. It almost feels like you're the type of individual who will forego some type of like party or a celebration because it's like, oh, sorry, that's like right when I go to the gym, or that's the time I go to bed. Like, I can't. You are so strict and adherent to what it is that you do. It doesn't necessarily have to be habits, but just to like, you're committed to the lifestyle you lead. And people do recognize it as like something you will not turn away from. Because of this, you come across as kind of almost prissy, like you just keep yourself too clean, like you're too closed off. Like, it's almost like people, it's not in a harsh way, it's not in a mean way, but these people who like want your attention, they kind of walk away like, ugh, like they think they're so good, don't they? Like, not in a mean way, like they're not, it doesn't feel resentful or violent, but they're salty. Like, they're like, ugh, just fine, like fine, you fine. It's just, I don't know, I get, Lily comes through as kind of like a, ugh, they're so, look at them just ignoring me kind of energy. Just, you're so focused on yourself and you don't care about anything else. But even in that, there's an admiration. Like, it almost makes them like you even more, that you're not going to sway from what you're committed to. In some cases, it almost comes through like there's some individuals who like that about you, because it makes them feel secure that if they could get your attention, if they could secure you as their committed partner, they know no one around them, or like no one around is going to be able to sway your attention, and like they know you're going to be locked into them. They know you're going to be loyal to them because of how loyal they see you're committed to your life as it stands now, and that provides a sense of security for some of these people. So like, even when they're salty about it, it's like, no, but that's cool. Like, they recognize, even if they don't right now, like at some point these people do recognize, like, no, that is an admirable thing about them. But okay, to get into the counsel, the advice for you, it's split into for the two groups here, and it's either you know that you're confident and you don't struggle with self-confidence. That's going to be group A. Group B would then be those who do struggle with self-confidence. And I'm going to start with group A because it's a lot quicker and easier to deliver this message. It's basically to lean into that confidence, to walk around knowing that you are attractive, that you do generate responses, and that you do pull, you have a magnetism to you. And even beyond that, you're being challenged to start pursuing people. That might sound scary if you're not comfortable with that, and don't do anything too outside your comfort zone, but ask people out. Try to, and if it doesn't go like, if you don't want to go that far, like, start chatting people up, start small conversations with people you find attractive. The fact that we have, look at your cards. We have the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. Not only 3 cards in a row that go in the sequence, but all of them, like court cards, all of them Wands cards, which are all about attraction and fire and passion. It's not that you are regarded as attractive, and this is true for all of you, not just for group A. It's that the people that are attracted to you are people that you would consider attractive as well. So move that way. Start to talk to people that you find attractive. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if the people that you approach that you find attractive, if they don't reciprocate what you're feeling, that doesn't matter. The point is for you to start getting comfortable with chatting people up so that these people who do have their eye on you will recognize, oh, the door's open, there's an opportunity, let me strike up this conversation, and then, basically like open the door for them. See who, like, investigate a little, see who it is that we're talking about here, and then see who you like, see what works. For group B, for those of you who you just heard that message for group A and you're like, oh my god, I could never do that, I could never just approach people that I find attractive and just start talking. That's okay, don't worry. The message then is to focus on that, to take small baby steps towards growing your confidence, and not just growing your own confidence, but the added task is to also start to do things that make you slightly uncomfortable every day. It doesn't have to be with other people, just something that pushes you just a little outside your comfort zone, so that over time you can start to generate a little more courage to take on things that feel uncomfortable, because you're more used to being uncomfortable, because you've spent so much time taking on small uncomfortabilities that you can at some point handle bigger ones. You maneuver through them better. Take your time, but the point is the cards are really reaffirming for you that the confidence you're growing and that you would be nurturing would not be misplaced, and that you would be well suited to try to be a little more aware of just how attractive you are. Even if you feel like you don't look attractive, it doesn't matter. Energy is attractive. Like being genuine to yourself, just being yourself, that's attractive. There's something about you that's genuinely attractive, and you need to start being a little more aware of that. So start to do the work to unravel that for yourself. I want to finish with the way that the King of Wands is reversed, but I'm not taking this to mean, well, okay, two final things that I want to say about all of these Wands cards. The first is that if you're wondering like who you should really pursue, if there's multiple people that are kind of coming to get your attention, if it helps, it's not someone from the past. The King of Swords reversed next to the Queen of Wands upwards, and the Queen of Wands facing the Knight of Wands, who's also facing her, really lets me know that the best case for you, and this is specifically for those of you who, like, as you're investigating and putting, those feelers out there, and someone from the past comes back, and then at the same time someone new comes in, take that new person. Even if if the person from the past didn't end like in a bad way, even if like you can recognize that they've changed, you're being told that you'll get better results from a new person. Take that as you will. But the second thing, and the last thing that I want to mention, is how that reversal makes it so that the King of Wands is facing her like the Knight of Wands is. And so all of these eyes on her, all of this attention on her, you. And no, you don't have to be a her, obviously. You just being represented by the Queen of Swords, and that's why I'm saying her, because they're looking at the Queen. So yeah, I really hope that this helped. Godspeed to you on your journey towards more confidence. If you don't need to work on your confidence, then Godspeed to you on your journey towards these new connections. I hope to catch you at another reading. Bye.